wanted to talk about busing, and I may have brought this up before about busing, yeah, but I was looking up some information because I couldn't remember exactly when it started or anything. Um, in our area, it started probably not long after I got out of high school. So, like in the early 70s, they started to start busing kids. This was a really bad idea. It didn't really benefit anybody. It didn't help anybody. I didn't see any benefit at all. It's like this is a good example when government comes in to try and fix things and then they screw things up. Um, what happened was it's like some of the negative things were they took they took kids from like the inner city and so on, and they would put them on buses at the like the crack of dawn, a lot earlier than they would normally get up to go to their own school, and then they bus them to the other schools and so on. Now, when I first heard about busing, I have to say that it's like, of course, so they were lacking sleep and stuff. So it's like they were, had less time with their families, and then they were, it's like they get home later than normal. So it just wasn't right or fair to them. They, when this idea first came up, I thought it was actually a pretty good idea. Until they started putting it into effect. And then what I saw was it's like noticed at Gardena High School. That's it affected it badly, the school very badly. I thought maybe they were gonna when they were gonna bus, they'd bus in a few bus loads of kids and so on, and then they try and bring up their standards and help them. But what happened was I was shocked one time I was driving by. I remember driving by there, and I was shocked at it was like busload after busload after busload after busload of kids. They were shipped, instead of bringing in maybe 100 kids or something like that to help them, they were bringing in like hundreds of kids. It's like it wasn't a few busloads, it was hundreds of kids. So what it ended up doing is it brought down the academics of the school, and the standards of the school, because Gardena High School was one of the best schools in the state of California, very high academic standards. And it took it within a year, not too many years, I would say less than 5 years, it took it right down. It's like what they should have been doing was helping the kids where they lived already. That's what they should have been doing. Um, they should have been, supplying tutors and any kind of help that helping the parents and so on. A lot of low income, so it's like in some ways, instead they spent billions of dollars, probably billions of dollars, busing these kids to different schools. And so not only did they not raise up the standards and help the kids in the schools that they were in, they brought down the other high performing schools. And I still think that may have actually been the plan anyway. It's like it's just another really good example of how government screws things up. Instead of just leaving it and just helping kids, just all they had to do was help the kids in the schools that they were in. They'd be close to home. It's like if the parents needed help in some way, they could help the parents and spend the money that way. If they're going to spend government money on it, they could have done it that way. But no, they shipped them off to other schools far away, got them up or at the crack of dawn. That was their stupid solution. At some point in the 70s, they actually stopped it. But by that time, it had done its damage. Later in the 70s, it ruined Gardena High School, and I know it ruined a lot of other schools too. So it didn't help anybody. I saw that it helped probably nobody at all. This is my opinion. You could disagree with it if you want. You would be wrong, because I lived through this time period. So it's like instead of looking at the correct solution, it's a different solution. This was their it's like this was their way of trying to fix something. And he also saw what they said was called white flight. So a lot of the schools, it's like if the parents could afford to get their kids in a private school because they were ruining the public schools, they would take their kids out of those schools and put them in a private school. But of course, a lot of them stayed in the school too. But it's like I saw that there was really no benefit to anybody at all in this.